Hi, my name's Dulcie Hill, and I want to talk about the essence of life without God. And I think the book that best describes this, Chasing All Things, is the book of Ecclesiastes. It's an Old Testament book, um, I believe it's right before or right after Psalms and Proverbs. So look for it there. Basically, Ecclesiastic is it's a teacher who happened to be a king in Jerusalem. He is and what he did is he started looking at life and observing it. And what he came to the conclusion, no matter what he did in life, no matter what he acquired, it was all meaningless. Everything is meaningless. It warns us that life's rewards are uncertain and ultimately unsatisfying. So, it's oftentimes you think of what it would take to make you happy, and then when you acquire it and it doesn't make you happy, you end up like Whitney Houston, or Del Shannon, or all these famous singers or movie stars, Robin Williams, who end up getting it all and taking their lives because it's meaningless. That's because they don't have God, they don't have the Bible, they don't know where the meaning lies in that. What is crooked cannot be straightened. The Bible it tells us this. Something wrong has intruded in our world, which if you turn on the news, you can see that something terrible is going on. Everything is such an emergency, and that's not how God's people are supposed to live. God is sovereign over all things, and it is our duty to follow his ways of living, ways for us to live. God will bring every deed into judgment, right? Doesn't mean that you're not saved. If you accept, I'll get into that anyway. So I'm going to continue the first 3 pages of Ecclesiastes. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 1. All right, let's see, Ecclesiastes 1 9. That's the first chapter in the 9th verse. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. And we know that history has a chance of repeating itself, and it often does. As creative as each one of us might think we are, it's all been thought of before. One of my dear friends said he had a friend who told him that he suffered from a chronic case of uniqueness, that he was unique. And once we drop that and know that we're not unique, there are a lot of people who think just the way you do and come up with these sayings. I bet if you wrote a song, that song will have a copyright infringement on somebody else's song because the song's been written before. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. So it's a freedom of knowing how pointless our life is. My mom used to say, if you take your hand and put it in a bucket of water and you pull it out, right? What you left there is our existence in life. As terrible as that sounds, it takes so much pressure off. We can make mistakes, right? Then it continued on verse 12 to say, this king of Jerusalem applied his mind to study and explored the wisdom under the heavens. And ultimately it led to him increasing his wisdom more than anyone who's ever ruled over Jerusalem had before. To what end? For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more wise, the more he educated himself, the more grief he had, because the more pointless things turned out to be. This is really good. So the way we apply this is that when there's something on the news, there's nuclear threats, there's global warming, there's all sorts of things that would, on the surface, may disturb us or concern us. It's important for us to know, as God's people, to the meaningfulness in life comes from Him, comes from living within God's bumpers, his bumpers, his rules. It's kind of like the Constitution of the United States. Um, it's the vows that we live in, that God intends us to live in, and if we can stay within the boundaries of not sinning by the Ten Commandments, by Jesus' two commandments, right? Love each other, love no other God but God the Father with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second one is love each other the way Jesus loved us, right? It's not so much love each other the way you love yourself, because if you're a woman, you love everybody more than yourself. Let's see. So now I want to go on to say, I understood great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water gardens and flourish area trees. Male and female slaves had other slaves who were born in my house. I also made herds and flocks. I treated my slaves well. Let's see here. I amassed silver and gold, so he made lots of money. He had a big family. He paid for singers to sing while he was eating dinner, and he gathered a bunch of women to be his wives, his harem, basically. So he always had something fresh to deal with. He says, I denied myself nothing my eyes were desired, nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all of my labor. Everything I provided for myself. And this was the reward of my toil, because he could get himself anything. So if somebody gives you $1 billion, you don't have God, you chase after it. And all these famous football players, all these people that have money dumped on their lap, what happens, right? Yet this is what he says, what the king says here. Yet when I surveyed all in my hands and all I had done to achieve and get all these pleasures, everything was meaningless. It's just meaningless. Without God, it's meaningless. Wisdom and folly are meaningless. The wise have eyes in their heads, while the fool walks in darkness. I came to realize, the king says, is that the same fate overtakes the fool and the wise, right? Where no one gets out of life alive, right? Life is 100% terminal. So what's the point? What's the point of life? And so you gotta think about the point of life. If we come from primordial goo, the way Darwin says, then, and there's no good or bad boundaries, then why not just shoot somebody in the head that is making you wait in line too long? But so much of this turns us to God, who wants us to love each other and have the opportunity to practice patience by letting someone else go in line in front of you. I'm still working on this. The fate of the fool will overtake me also. What then do I gain by wisdom? This too is meaningless, for the wise like the fool will not be long remembered. The days have already come, and both have been forgotten. Like the fool, the wise must die too. I think that it really means a lot to me right now since my best friend, childhood best friend, who just died of metastasized cancer, she didn't have a relationship with the Lord and Savior, and I beat myself up about that, and that's why I'm doing this ministry there. Anyway, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. And again, this is under Bible studies that the new playlist I'm putting together. Thank you so much.